series of the Supermarine Spitfire is one of the most well-known annoyances to basically every other air force in all of War Thunder. The near-mythical ability of these pigeons in game to outfight nearly everything the world throws at it can often overshadow some of the actual issues they can have in the heat of combat, which can easily show the difference between a new virgin pilot with a fake moustache from a veteran Chad Nagel who wields Excalibur as his flight stick. And in true British fashion, there are several different and unique models of this particular modification in game, which can be simply divided into two distinct types, their designation solely depending on what altitude that the two-stage two-speed supercharger of the Rolls-Royce Maiden 60 series V12 inline engines were optimized to perform at. Therefore, we shall start getting into the nitty-gritty with the general purpose F models, equipped with a Maiden 61 engine that cranks out over 1270 horsepower under normal conditions with an additional 203 horsepower to call on takeoff. Tuned for medium altitude combat situations, the standard F9 is capable of reaching over 404 miles per hour at around 8,500 and some odd meters, equipped with a pair of Hispano Mark II 20mm cannons and 4 303 Browning machine guns, while the rare premium tournament prize F9C version ditches the machine guns for an additional pair of cannons for maximum colonialism. Moving on, we get to the low altitude tuned low fairing models, equipped with the improved Maiden 66 engine chugging 150 octane fuel, which cranks out over 1609 horsepower under normal conditions and almost 2000 horsepower on takeoff, with their overall top speed at 428 miles per hour at a much lower 4800 and some odd meters. The additional horsepower gives the LF models a ridiculous increase in climb rate to over 31 meters per second. However, the armament is barely improved, swapping out the 303 Browning machine guns for a pair of them 250 caliber machine guns, unless you happen to have the no longer for sale John Plagius Ace Premium LF9, which has the 303 Brownings instead. And in the middle of all these pigeons, both literally and performance-wise, is the odd duck Mk XVI, which is for all intents and purposes a Mark 9 that has clipped wings, a bubble canopy and a Packard-built Maiden engine designated as the 266. Going into flight performance, the Mark 9s can be considered the definition of an all-round dogfighter, with overall excellent maneuverability with good energy retention and prolonged turn fights, and in the case of the LF Mark 9 and the Mk XVI, outstanding acceleration, which makes it very easy to catch opponents who have given you the high ground by either tunnel visioning onto friendly aircraft, or making the simple mistake of initiating a turn fight that they cannot win, regardless of altitude. However, this level of performance comes at the price of its overall durability, of which we start with the wings, which, unless you are the odd Mk 16, give an otherwise responsive and easy-flying fighter a subpar roll rate in comparison to its contemporaries, which only gets worse the faster you go. And due to the rather weak construction of the wing spars in comparison to other fighters, they respond poorly to even the slightest amount of battle damage, for while they are strong enough to hold together in a high-speed dive from the heavens, they are also very easy to lose if they are hit by basically anything while performing tight maneuvers at high speed. Besides the delicate wings, the Maiden engines are also an issue into themselves, as not only do they suffer the usual issues of inline engine fragility, but they also guzzle fuel without restraint, which combined with its small fuel load means that it is possible to run clean out of petrol if you happen to be that player who forgets to change the fuel load from minimum and holds W for war emergency power all the way to the combat zone. With all of this in mind, the Spitfire is an excellent all-round fighter that works best when it's able to bait the enemy into fighting on its own terms, forcing your opponent to throw away any advantage they may have in energy and speed, while using your superior maneuverability and acceleration to get onto their tail and take them out with deft and deliberate trigger discipline, of which the gun convergence is recommended to be no more than 500 meters. And unless you happen to be flying the 4-cannon Mark 9C, it is best to focus primarily on enemy fighters and light attack aircraft with minimal defensive armament, as larger, more heavily armed bombers can quickly dismantle your pigeon before you can do enough meaningful damage to put it out of the skies.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Gotcha, bitch!
Now it's time for the semantics of modules and crew skills, in which we will breeze right through this and go with the usual, while balancing the need for performance and survivability mods with getting all the weapon upgrades as quickly as possible to minimize the pain that is stock syndrome. Then you can ponder the usefulness of carrying that small stone, which is not at all, for it is a complete waste of the aircraft's offensive potential to go lawn mowing, as you should leave that task to the extra large ground attack peasants from across the pond. As for pilot skills, it's the same old routine of making sure Nigel gets his roughage and exercise, and then hyping him up on energy tablets and a wee bit of whiskey before sending him up and into the skies for king and country. And that is how you fly the Mk IX series of the Supermarine Spitfire. Now, get out there and show the enemy what it really means to go aces high.